Indiana Jones. It's a podcast about Indiana Jones. Every movie, 1 minute at a time. The Indiana Jones Minute.
Welcome back to the Indiana Jones Minute, the daily podcast in which we zoom in on Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom 1 minute at a time. I'm Pete Mummert.
I'm Tom Taylor.
I'm Jerry Porter.
And today we are joined one more time by the golden voice himself, Steve Kreuch.
Happy to be here.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
And today we're going to talk about Minute 30. Minute 30 begins with a man trying to help Willie up onto an elephant and then recoiling just in time so as not to make any actual physical contact with her, and ends with Willie tugging at her collar and sniffing the air around her. And I think it's interesting. Like, at the beginning of this scene, you've got all the villagers standing around in this circle and everyone's watching him, and this guy is trying really hard not to touch her. And I'm curious if that's like a don't touch the actors of this movie thing, or if it's a caste thing, or if it's a religious thing.
That's a good question.
It could be a D.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't think this is... What happened to Marion?
Yeah, I think I actually think he's afraid of getting kicked.
Yeah.
Oh, man, yeah, she is wearing those like high heel shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and her legs keep flailing about. I think he's afraid of getting fish hooked with one of those heels.
That's true.
Yeah.
And he does get a pretty good handful at the very end.
Yeah. But to me, in this movie, Willie Scott is Jar Jar.
Yeah.
Just gonna say, I mean, she is grating. She's inept. She flails all over the place. And in this minute, she's like peak Willie to me. She's like just so terrible.
She's so, yeah, the stuff that she does in this 1 minute is so... I almost feel like it's not her. Like Willie is not this stupid. She's really annoying, and she's got her moments where you just want to run in the other direction. But there are times when I like her. But here, I'm like I'm kind of skipping to like the middle of the minute. But she's like, I need a phone. Does anybody have a phone? I'm like, no. She's not that stupid. She wouldn't actually say that. That's like something that somebody saw in a movie from like the 30s or something. Like that'd be funny if she asked all these people who obviously don't have a phone if they have a phone. It's like, nah, cut it out.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I also think
it's
her
just...
Go ahead.
I was going to say it's comic relief, but it kind of falls flat.
It's super lazy. Yeah, it's just very like softball kind of stuff.
So I think to my 12-year-old self, because I was 12 when I saw this for the first time, I thought it was probably pretty hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
In 1984.
Yeah.
But as a 40-plus-something-year-old dude, I just watch it and I go, ugh, this is such a cheap bit.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's cheap. Yeah, they're just not trying very hard.
Although I will say, I mean, I know I'm too much of a Willie apologist, and I apologize for that. But
You're a Pete apologist.
there is a trope in like every modern action movie where every character automatically knows how to ride a horse or fire a complex weapon. And so, like, it is a little bit refreshing that, I mean, they way overdo it, but like I would know how to climb up onto an elephant,
Right?
And like, why would we expect a singer from Depression era? Yeah,
that's why you have mahouts.
you got two of them.
So she's got to trust the process, which she's not doing.
Yeah,
Mahouti and the Blowfish.
Well, we talk about the sort of racist elements in the movie here and there, and I mean, in this one, it's just like. In this movie, it's like everybody loses. I mean, the Americans look ridiculous here. I mean, it's like, I need to call my agent. Is there a phone? Can anybody tell me where there's a phone?
Yeah.
It's just like...
They can't.
Yeah.
Well, this scene, like, it takes a bad turn, like, racially, too, because Indy... Like, he starts ordering the porters to follow him. He doesn't even turn around to make eye contact with him. He just kind of half turns his head and waves his hand and starts barking orders. And it just really, to me, feels like it takes kind of a really dark kind of colonialist turn. Suddenly now it's the colonialist people are in town and, hey, you guys, you got to walk along the entire way while we're riding comfortably on an elephant.
Well, and he even calls her doll in this scene showing like his low opinion of her.
He throws in a lot of that kind of lingo that he never really used before in Raiders or anything, and it never sounds right coming out of him. Like,
see, that was one of my notes about this scene. It's the second time that Indy calls Willie doll, and I'm wondering, is it because she's a starlet, or I mean, is it just because, like, to him she's just another pretty face?
I mean, we've only seen him with Marion before, so it could be that this is how he is with everybody who he doesn't have like a history with or something, or he doesn't know kind of intimately.
Sure.
But he doesn't even just say it. He's not like doll. He brays it. He's like, doll. Like, it's just so demeaning.
You're a doll.
Is it kind of one of those like throwback to the 30s type things? Like, you see?
Oh yeah, totally. That's what it sounds
well,
like.
I feel like that's what they're trying to do, but I don't feel
Yeah.
like they succeed. Like, they wouldn't have sounded that nasty in a 30s movie. I don't think.
Yeah, it feels like they
would
saw.
have called her a dame.
Right, yeah, you skirt. We're going to Delhi later.
Or even if they had called her a doll, it wouldn't have been like, it would have been a little softer in the delivery.
Or just roll off the tongue a little more. It sounds like they're imitating old movies or something, and it's just not working right or something. Even to the point of like those like extremely funny reaction shots to the women standing there, and it's straight out of The Little Rascals. It's like it's literally like Jackie Cooper standing there going, "Oh, there's a lady on an elephant."
Yeah.
So I gotta say, like, some of those women, especially there's one on the right with a green turban, remind me a little bit of the skeletons in Well, the Souls.
Oh my God.
Well, I mean, it's been a tough week.
Yeah, their rock got stolen. Haven't you heard?
2 seasons.
Like second 7, when Indy and Shorty are looking back at her flailing about trying to get onto this, I just, it looks like Shorty's just like, that's so Willie. Like, Willie Scott, am I right?
There she goes again.
Ugh.
He's delighted that she's there.
This village is so smoky. Every scene.
Yeah, we commented on that before. We couldn't figure out.
Is that the leftover from the fire that the evil palace lit as sort of a distraction? So when they, the villagers went out to put out the fire, they came in and stole the children.
So the villagers actually like incredibly lazy. Like when they have to go out to the fields to fight the fire, it's literally like 5 steps away from where they're standing.
Right. And they can't put out the fire now because there's no water.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Are tire fires their main export?
Yeah. That's why it smells terrible there.
Yeah, I wonder if they did go with tires. That was their problem in Tunisia when they were filming in Tunisia. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Maybe they learned the exact right ratio of tire, how many tires to use and how much fire.
And what is the old guy mumbling in this scene?
Aha!
Well, Jared went to 7-Eleven.
Thank you, Jared. I appreciate your dedication.
I checked with Janeth, the cultural ambassador at 7-Eleven.
He needs a little theme song, a little jingle every time.
Yeah.
Bring him up.
But you know what? I'm going to tell you what it's not going to be. So it's not going to go whatever. Ding dong sitar.
Right.
Okay. And he said that the shaman's prayer towards the end of this minute is what he says is, thanks to God, our children came back. And I asked him, I said, well, wait a minute. Does he say, thanks? Yeah, I was like, well, does he say, we'll come back? And he said, no, he says, came back.
Oh, weird.
And
so
I was
this
like,
should have been at the end.
But, well, I think he may have been speaking also about the one child that we had in minute, 27, 28.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So.
Well, I like when he's introduced here, we get that same crazy camera shot that's sort of a little bit reminiscent of the Jaws Vertigo camera shot when we first are introduced to him. It's like the camera pushes in and everything around it kind of distorts. And it's like he's got his own kind of magical camera shot to go along with that magical bird call. And I think that's just another sign that he's praying to Shiva to keep controlling keep pulling the strings for Indy.
I love that shot, and everything the shaman is in is fantastic.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, after watching it 1 minute now and looking at it, I love that character. He's terrific.
Hey, in all seriousness, is it possible that shot is supposed to be from the end of the movie and they just put it in here instead?
No, because at the end of the movie, the whole village isn't smoky and it's brightly colored.
Yeah,
and painted,
that's true. Yeah.
So it could have just been a thing where, like this guy didn't speak English, so he might not have understood what they were saying.
Oh, maybe didn't get what.
But he didn't understand the direction.
Yeah.
Sure.
And they did film this after they filmed the part at the end, so it might have been a little confusing anyway.
He already saw the kids come back, so he's like, "Hey, they came back already."
Right.
I don't know how movies work.
Well, now speaking of inconsistencies,
What?
they're clearly not in northern India, just because all the palm trees.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's palm trees all over the place, and you're like, nah, I don't think that's northern India.
Well,
I haven't been there, but I don't think they're palm trees, or at least they don't look like those palm trees.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe on the coast, but I don't think they're on the coast.
Yeah, well, again, Janeth pointed that out, and he said that's clearly, either it's obviously Sri Lanka, which he said, but he's like,
or like the very south.
Yeah, the very south of India. He said that's what that would look like, southern India or Sri Lanka.
Yeah. Yeah, because the north is especially the northwest is desert. It's really dry, definitely not jungle environment.
No. One mountainous, right?
Yeah.
But this is pretty.
Did you notice in the
It
wide
is,
shot that Shorty's not on his elephant?
I double-checked that.
He's on the elephant with Indy.
I think I looked at that.
There's two figures, a short one and a taller one, on the front elephant.
See,
Also,
I thought you couldn't see
there's
him.
nobody on the... Oh, no, you're right.
No, because the small elephant is against a lighter background, and you can clearly see there's no one on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you can see two little figures
Humps.
on the front one.
Yeah.
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 I'm noticing watching this, I always thought of Short Round sort of more as Indy's, I don't know, sidekick isn't the right word, but he seemed more like, I didn't notice the relationship to be so parental. And yeah, so he's Indy that paternalistic.
Yeah.
Especially, it's more and more they have a very father-son relationship.
Yeah.
I didn't notice that when I first saw the movie the many times I did until we're doing it a minute at a time.
Yeah, I think I'm the same way. I think I'm just picking up on that as we do this.
But I've got a question about that. I was telling you guys before, and this is one of my favorite minutes of the movie. And I think when they cut away from the shaman and they do this long shot of them, the elephants walking into the lagoon, and that Short Round's theme comes soaring in. I just think that's spectacular.
Oh, sure.
I think it's one of those gorgeous shots in any of the Indiana Jones movies. And it's just it's so dramatic. But my question is, why are they playing Short Round's theme?
Yeah.
Why is this super dramatic music? Yeah, this incredibly dramatic moment, this pivotal moment in the movie, and why is it Short Round's theme that swells up and moves everybody? Yeah,
because usually his placement of those themes makes a ton of sense, and you get it. I mean, sometimes it's super. It's usually not so heavy-handed as it is with Short Round usually and stuff. But even in Empire, they'll play the Han and Leia love theme, as the Millennium Falcon is escaping from Hoth or something. So that makes sense. They're on the Falcon and they're getting out of there together and stuff, But here, it's kind of well, what is this? The scene isn't really about Shorty in any way.
I think it has to do with kind of listening as the Westerner. You're like, oh, here's this exotic locale that they're on this safari journey, going to an exotic palace that's evil, and we don't know. And so we're going to play music that sounds, exotic and foreign to the Westerner.
Mm-hmm.
Well, see, I was
maybe it simply worked best for that for this kind of moment. Willie's theme wouldn't have translated well into this kind of
Yeah.
vast travelogue kind of excitement music or something.
Or would any of the dun, 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 like
that'd be a little too much.
Yeah. It's basically now, as we said, like they're en route to the Temple of Doom.
Yeah.
It started, I mean, here's the payoff of the fortune and glory. He said it, and then now here's the fortune and glory action starting.
And elephants move too slow to use the red travel line.
The movie be 5 hours long.
Yeah, it's just we say they're watching this friggin' map.
Well, you said now, what is it? Was it 1,200 miles to Pankot?
Yeah, 1,210 miles.
1,200. I mean, how's that little baby one gonna make it?
Well, and so which leads me to this. Look at this wide shot. They don't have any provisions or camping supplies.
Hey,
All they have is the one mahout leading them, and it's probably going to be eaten by a crocodile crossing this lagoon.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
But they have no supplies.
Right.
Yeah.
That's not going to work out.
I mean, are they going to live off the land? I don't know.
See, this goes back to our original theory that Pankot is actually like 300 feet away from the village. And he's just really lazy.
Right.
Well, it is true that the Pankot I looked up, that, things have changed between 1936 and now. So maybe Google Maps has it wrong.
Tectonic plates have shifted quite a bit.
Yeah.
80 years.
There's some laziness in these minutes. We've established.
It's either laziness or it's this spot looks awesome.
Yeah.
So we're going to put that in the movie even if it doesn't make sense in any geographical way.
Yeah.
And we're going to put this music in the movie right here, even if it doesn't make sense.
Yeah. It's about a kid
and we're going to
wearing a
put
cap.
these Sankara stones in the movie right here, even if it doesn't make sense.
Magical rocks. Sure, that works.
We're going to put this lady in the movie, even if she doesn't make sense.
We're going to put a child sidekick in. So it makes no sense for the character.
Yeah.
I still am I'm still on board with the idea of Indy having a kid sidekick. And I don't hate Shorty.
Yeah, I'm okay with the kid sidekick too.
I'm okay with it too, although I get a little funny. Like it's kind of you're getting my peanut butter and your chocolate. I'm like I either want him to be a I don't know, his kid, or I want him to be like his dude, like he's got his Shorty's got his back. He's got his back.
And Indy has Shorty's back because that last scene made me really sad. That whole we were just talking about hey, what are we gonna do about those kids? Anyway, the Sankara stone. Go to bed.
Well, maybe that's why Shorty's music is playing. Like he's actually the guy, and he's actually the adult in the movie.
Yeah, he's on the front of the elephant. He's in charge.
And maybe Indy's like, hey, can I ride with you, Shorty? If I come on your elephant?
I'd also like for Shorty to be a little older. Because otherwise it kind of doesn't make sense why you're going to take him into all these dangerous situations. Like,
Thank you, Steve. Thank you. Because that was one of the first things I asked Tom in like minute 8 or 9 when you first see Shorty. He's driving the getaway car and everyone's getting shot at.
Right, with blocks on his feet. Well, the good thing is he's short enough that the bullets are going to go right over his head.
Sure. The perfect wheelman.
But yeah, there's no reason why you would ever have, like, if he cares about him, why he would put him in these situations.
Yeah, it's giving him some tough love.
Is that just, do you think he's just allowing Shorty the freedom to live the way he wants to?
Yeah, he's not being a helicopter parent or anything. He's letting him make mistakes and get dirty and,
Well, you know what? Why don't you try that with your 9-year-old, Tom?
I'm trying. I let him open a brand new thing of milk, knowing that there's every possibility that he could spill it all over the place, and he did great.
Well, why don't you try?
I'm proud of him. I'm going to tear up now. God.
Why don't you have your neighbor come over and shoot a couple rounds through the living room?
See what he does.
We're going to do donuts in the parking lot tomorrow.
Well, I got a question. I've been wondering. I've been trying to figure out what time it is, like what time of day and how much time has elapsed. Because when they're getting on the elephants, it's like early, like it looks like morning or day, and then you've got this beautiful like sunset or dawn, like there's this beautiful reddish light now, and then it cuts to like bright midday afternoon Echo Park with Willie riding on the elephant.
Yeah.
Right.
And so is this like, has a day passed or what's going on?
Well, I wondered, I was like, why is the elephant walking down Rodeo Drive?
Yeah, it looks exactly
exactly like that.
Yeah.
I never noticed. Oh, go ahead.
No, that's a good point. I have no idea how much time has elapsed.
I think it's supposed to be only a day. Like I think when they camp out later, that's the first day.
Yeah.
But you're right.
The second shot is supposed to be like the wide shot is supposed to be like the morning is still, is still relatively morning, turning to, and now with the Willie shot, it's more around noon, even though that doesn't really work. But it was much cloudier before, and now the clouds are gone.
That's true.
Right. Can we? I mean, should we just make it up? Is Pankot Palace like 14 miles away?
It's got to be farther because they spend a night.
Yeah, unless they just go in circles.
With Indy's, travel schedule maybe.
You take the scenic route.
Yeah,
it takes exactly as long. It's like an elevator ride in a movie. It takes exactly as long as the conversation.
Right.
And maybe the red glow like over the lagoon is the evil glow from the palace. Like maybe they're just approaching.
Yeah.
It's the Eye of Sauron.
I like that.
Did you ever notice Willie's shirt? How it's Indy's tuck shirt folded over, like doubled over?
Yeah. Like Luke Skywalker style.
Yeah.
It's
like she's wearing a gi or something. It's a tuck shirt as a gi.
Does she still have her dress?
Yeah, she's so
I want to say
she
does.
Yeah.
She does.
Right now she still does. Okay.
When she's climbing on the elephant, I think in one part you can see it's in her left hand at the beginning of the moment. When she's climbing onto the elephant.
Yeah.
Okay.
Her right hand is on the ear, her left hand is clutching it.
Yeah.
You know what?
But then you can't really see it, but I think in a later scene you can see it a little bit behind her on the elephant. Next minute.
It's so weird. Like I just don't. They filmed this in such a weird manner. Like that they made this incredible, gorgeous dress out of vintage 1920s beads, and then the first thing they do is send it to Sri Lanka to have her carry it around on an elephant and camping. And then later they send it to London, like for filming the scene where she actually wears it.
Right,
it's such a weird.
Maybe this is the stunt dress or something that can get balled up. And
well, no, because it got eaten. The elephant ate part of it.
Oh, that's right.
Exactly.
That's right. It was actually the dress.
It was the dress. Yeah.
Oh
it caused,
my gosh,
like, they had to
weird.
fill out insurance forms eaten by an elephant.
Wow. I badly want to know if this shirt, if it's literally Harrison Ford's shirt that he was wearing in the Club Obi-Wan, or if they, approximated it so it would look better as a, Willie's shirt or something. You know what I mean? Like I want to know if they just actually took his shirt from the wardrobe department and put it on her and did it Luke Skywalker style.
Yeah.
Or if it's like a whole new thing to look better on her or something.
Well, I like that he's still making her carry his jacket.
Yeah.
Well, let me just posit this. Say that the shaman could conjure up a phone.
Yeah.
And Willie calls her agent. What are you going to say? Like, okay, where are you, Willie?
Yeah. Well, Willie, I think the best thing is for you to spend the next few days to have an adventure and get to Delhi when you do. And then give me another call, and we'll see what we can do.
And then the agent, he would have put down the phone. I'd be like, hey, Willie Scott, she's done. All right, she's done. What was that? What was it? Let's get that Mary, what was it, Green? Was it Mary White, Mary Green? Let's call her in.
Yeah.
I wish the old man had been like, we've only just got this old radio laying around, and he opens a hut, and there's the Ark of the Covenant. So I have a weird bit of trivia that ties this movie to Empire in a weird way.
Oh, nice. It's not the probe droid from before?
No, it's not the probe droid. So my first job out of college was working for Irvin Kershner.
Not nearly enough has been made of that, by the way.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
I did not know that. That's
I was
incredible.
his assistant, working out of his house, screening scripts and just being his general assistant for a year. And one of the things he told me, and I just came across one thing, and we were talking about Harrison Ford at one point, and it's like, oh, Harrison was just here just the other day. And I was like, God damn!
You start touching everything.
Call me. And he started telling me about how for this movie, and it's widely known that Harrison Ford, he knew he was going to have his shirt off in later scenes, and so he used Body by Jake. Jake was the trainer, and it was kind of a thing in the 80s, Body by Jake. Well, so because of that, he was talking to Kersh, and basically Harrison Ford had Body by Jake go over to Kersh's house and start training Kersh. And so sometimes Kersh and Harrison Ford would be like training in Kersh's living room.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So when we see Harrison Ford without his shirt in this movie, we can picture Kersh, and the same thing? They look about the same? Okay.
But by the way, Tommy, we have our winner for King of Darien.
I guess we do. I concede.
I mean, he was the nicest guy in the world. I mean,
I bet.
He was like, "What do you like to have in the house?" And he was like, "Orange juice." Like, okay, and there would be like the fine, like the not Tropicana. It was like,
right.
You could tell they juiced it. All around his house were not only his movie posters, but like on his desk he had movie prop models from RoboCop 2.
Oh, awesome.
Of the bad RoboCop. And he just had random things all around his house, like, oh look, here's a box full of location photos from when they were scouting for Hoth. Oh look, here's portraits he took of Sean Connery and Kim Basinger before Never Say Never Again.
Nice.
Yeah, it was just kind of too much for my 22-year-old mind to take in. Yeah, there was like I posted on my Facebook page a story about Carrie Fisher after she died. And,
oh yeah.
There was a couple times where I was driving to work and I would just happen to start drag racing this car beside me, and there was one time where I remember it was a Mercedes station wagon with a bunch of balloons tied to it, and it turned out that I'm at a red light and I look over and it's Carrie Fisher that I'm racing up the hill. And then she turned off into her house, which then a couple weeks later I went to her house to deliver Christmas presents from Kersh to her kids.
Oh,
and
wow.
I got to meet her, and as I called it, go to Alderaan. And she was super nice, and we talked for a couple minutes, and I left, and I was like, oh my God. It was a very bizarre year, because all of a sudden I go out from an errand, I come back, and there's a guy sitting there with his Game Boy by a car, and then I go inside, and it turns out that, Ray Bradbury's over for lunch. And that's his
oh my God.
It's like, what the hell is on in this place?
That's incredible.
Well, Tom, if
Me.
I see a hand in the back.
Jerry, if people have listened to all of our episodes, where could they go to find other things they might like to listen to?
Oh, well, if it's 4 o'clock in the morning and you can't sleep, don't get up and go get that glass of warm almond milk. What you need to do is you dial 724 Lost Ark and you leave us a message on the Indiana Jones Minute hotline. And then you can rest your head back on the pillow and drift off into slumber peacefully.
You were
That's
supposed to do the movies by minutes.
Oh, because it's Friday. or if
so they've called the hotline.
Yeah.
They've told us what's on their mind, and they're like, I would still like to listen. Like, is there other entertainment I could consume after I've consumed everything there is to consume from the Indiana Jones Minute and its subsidiaries.
You can obviously go to the Movies by Minute page, which I'm going to boomerang to you, Tommy.
Oh, you mean moviesbyminutes.com, where you can find a concise catalog of all of these crazy Movies by Minutes podcasts. You got your, well, maybe I shouldn't even name it. Well, okay, you got your Star Wars Minute, your Goodfellas, your Airport, your Alien. There's thousands, well, not thousands. There's like
Wrath of Khan.
There's like 20 on here. Wrath of Khan,
Big Trouble in Little
Clueless,
China,
Ghostbusters. Oh my God, I feel bad for the ones I'm not saying because there's so many of them. Spinal Tap, Caddyshack. I've heard of Caddyshack. I think I'm on that show. I do that show with my friends Mike DeMaria and Dan Lewis, and we're having a ball, and you should come join us over there at caddyshackminute.com if you feel like it.
Please do. And after you have listened to all of those shows, within the evening after you finish this, make sure you come back tomorrow. Actually, no, make sure you come back Monday.
Sure.
And join us for a brand new episode, Minute 31 of Indiana Jones Minute.
I need a phone!
Phone! Doll!